where the seeds are sown. Fingers tapping on a Ouija board. Broken silence like a shattered chord. Eerie hums in the dead of night. Is it true?
Well, hello. Welcome to another part of Things Paranormal Talks. Tonight I have a different co host. Let me get her in.
Hey guys.
It worked. So, Sophia agreed to join us. Shane couldn't make it. And as soon as I hear more, I will share out. For now, I'm going to do this live together with Sophia.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here and I'm very excited for our guest today.
Me too. Me too. We have, for the Dutch listeners, someone who is in the Dead Files. We are at season 2 at this moment, and we had all seasons, including Cindy Keza. But we are going to talk about all the episodes with Steve Dischiavi. Let
Hi.
Hey,
It
thank you for
worked.
coming on.
You said all the episode is 220. There's no. I just turned 63. I am not remembering any of those episodes.
Oh, that's a shame. I wanted to ask about every episode.
Hey, that's understandable. I mean, that's a lot of cases to work on. And besides the Dead Files, as a police officer, you've worked on a lot of cases. So you would have to have an incredible memory to have that all.
It's funny because Netflix reached out to me because they did a show, New York City Homicide. They wanted me on that. I didn't want to do it. And Oxygen just reached out to me for a homicide I worked on in 2003.
Wow.
And it's basically the female ME in New York. I actually know her. Her name's Barbara Butcher. It's on Netflix. She had a show on Netflix. Now they're doing a series on Oxygen. So the woman calls me up and says, "You remember this case?" And she said, "I'm like, no, you got to, I worked 1,000 homicides. I couldn't even tell you." But then she started mentioning she was chopped up and all this other stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. She was in a bag. Then it clicked. So I actually had done an episode of a show called Watching the Detectives where we did that episode, that case. So she reached out. I said, first of all, how'd you get my number? That's number one. And then she danced around it a little bit. Somebody gave me up. They threw my number out to us. Said, no, this guy, because my name was in an article in the paper that I was able to identify the body. And then I remembered the whole case, which it's very hard for me to remember cases, that closely anyway. But my mind's not that bad yet. It's getting there though.
Is there any case that stick to you?
That was one of them. I worked. I was the child fatality expert in the city, in my borough. It was Manhattan South, and I worked in Manhattan North in the homicide squad. So I had to respond to every dead baby, whether it was SIDS, accidental murders. Usually it was a SIDS case. But we had a murder of an 11-year-old Chinese girl, Quinn Wang Ru, and I remember that one specific. We know who did it. The father did it. We just could never put it together. But a lot of cases I won't remember offhand. It's like you talk about something and it'll bring something up, and then oh yeah, I remember it now. But when people saw me, oh my God, tell me a story. I'm like, I don't know. I woke up, had breakfast today. Is that a good one for you?
Yeah.
I remember my shootings I've been in, stuff like that, but I don't remember, stuff like specifics until something jogs my memory. Like I said, I just turned 63, so you're gonna have to bear with me.
Well, I'm almost there.
I started Dead Files when I was 49.
Yeah.
I did the what the hell they call it, the pilot, whatever they call it these days. When I was 48. So it's been a minute since I started doing this. I mean, I aged progressively. You'll see if you got all 15 seasons, you'll see the age progression.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us more about that, your investigative work? What initially drew you to wanting to go into the line of police work and eventually working homicides, which is, a very hard field to do?
Well, the odd thing is I grew up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, very big mob generated, big mob area in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And you grew up hating the cops. You basically did. It was just culture. I enlisted in the Marine Corps when I was 17, went overseas, came home, and I knew that I didn't want to stay around in the Marine Corps because the culture was very, you work hard, but you don't get promoted. If I was in the Army, I would have been a staff sergeant by the time I got out because, the Marine Corps is just very slow in promoting. And I was a machine gunner. I was cross-trained as a radio operator, but skills for the street, after you get out aren't very high. I went in without a high school diploma. I never had a high school diploma. I'm getting a GED. But that's another story. I mean, I got thrown out of high school in 10th grade. I went back for half of it, and then that was it. I was done. So my sister, one of my sisters, I'm the youngest of 6. One of my sisters put me in for the police test, the fire department. She signed me, So I was home on leave. I just happened to be home on leave, and I took the police test. I scored really high. I wind up getting stationed in Quantico when I came back from the States. I was training officer candidates over there. That's where their OCS is in the basic school. The FBI Academy's there in Quantico. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll try this cop thing. So I get called to go on the police department into the academy, but I was still in the Marine Corps. I had to hold my spot. So I got out the end of June 29th. I went to Police Academy July 16th. And that was it. I just never looked back. And once I was on the job, I knew I wanted to be in homicide at some point. Took a long time to get there, but I knew what I wanted. I knew I didn't want to be a boss. I took a test once. That was it. I worked in narcotics for 4 years. Worked in plain clothes. I did basically everything you could do in the police department. I got assigned to the terrorist task force for a short time during 9/11, after 9/11. But I did not like working with the feds. So I'm like, get me back to homicide. I'm done with these guys. They're just a different culture altogether. They're not street guys.
Yeah.
And the ones that were usually cops before, but they're not that many. You get too many college graduates and the FBI and the Secret Service and all this stuff. So it wasn't a good mix for me. But that's how I wound up on a police department. It wasn't something as a kid, I'm like, I want to be a cop. I always wanted to go into the service. My father was a World War II vet along with his brothers. My father landed on Omaha Beach in World War II. Both my brothers were in Vietnam. Everybody got a Purple Heart in my family but me. It's like my Uncle Armin, my father's brother was a POW in Stalag 17B. So the military history in my family was big. So I kind of knew I was going to, because obviously school didn't work out for me. I just I wasn't working out at all. And I had a misspent youth for the most part. And I got recruited into the Marine Corps at shooting pool because they had a Woolworths. You won't remember, Sophia, but there was Woolworths, was a department store.
Yeah.
Well, above the Woolworths in Brooklyn, in Bay Ridge, there was all the recruiters on the second floor, and the third floor was the skytop pool hall. So I used to get done I was working on the garbage truck at the time. When I was a kid, I was working private sanitation, hence the neighborhood I lived in. So I work in private sanitation. I work from 10 o'clock at night till like 5 in the morning. I go home, I go sleep, and then I go to the pool hall and shoot pool. And the recruiters would come upstairs on their lunch hour. Next thing I know, I'm on Yellow Footprints in Paris Island. It was just crazy. So my mother had a sign for me because I was underage and my father had just passed away. So it was just, so she didn't even know what she was signing, poor thing. So I don't think she would have signed it because under the age of 18, you have to have parental permission. So, which worked out. It got me out of Brooklyn, got me off the streets. So it worked out good. It takes a thief to catch a thief. Yeah. Not saying I was a thief, but
I know Woolworths. I promise. My mom told me about it.
I don't. Well, there is the Woolworth building in Manhattan that's still pretty famous, but
Yeah, my mom told me about their hot dogs.
Yeah, I told people who ordered, they're like, what? I'm like, never mind. How old are you? Good for you for knowing that, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I was raised on TCM, and she told me about their hot dog, split down the middle, fried. So
Yeah. So
Lucky
yeah, that's
you.
about it. So then, I went on the police department, and I did everything. I started out walking a foot post, then into a radio car in uniform. From there, I went into plain clothes, and then from plain clothes, I got picked up for narcotics, where I got my gold shield. Went to the detective bureau, and from the detective bureau, I got picked up for the homicide squad. So I had most of my career was in the detective bureau, and the 4 years in narcotics. So,
Yeah.
and that was always fun.
Did you hear while you're being a detective about paranormal cases and death?
No, we had some Santeria stuff that was going on as far as anything closely remote to the paranormal. And, with the chickens and the bones and all the, I can't curse on here, right?
You can curse.
Oh, okay. So I said, the chicken bullshit and all that. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? So my partner's like, that's Santeria. We got to get out of here. And we were in uniform, and we're like, yeah, we got to get out of here. We got to go to church and get blessed. I'm like, okay, take it easy. We'll be all right. But as far as the paranormal stuff, nothing ever. I will admit that I did, on some cases, reach out to psychics that I had known a couple of times. Unfortunately, they never led me any place, for a case to solve a case. I had a friend of mine who was a mentor, actually, of mine, that was an old timer, who used one you probably know, she was a female from Jersey, an older Italian woman. I can't remember, Rosie or something like that. She was a famous psychic in Jersey. He used to use her a lot, and he swore by her. So I said, hey, it's good enough for him. It's good enough for me. So I tried it a couple of times. Things didn't work out. So, I'm not a non-believer. I'm an open-minded skeptic. I don't believe people. That's where my thing, even on the show, I'm like, I ain't saying there's not paranormal. I'm saying I think people are full of shit. That's what I'm saying. So that's half the battle, is like getting through the bullshit with people.
Yeah.
But the show, as far as the show goes, I didn't look to answer your question. I didn't look. I had been in a movie, somebody with Ed Norton. I forget the name of the movie. Anyway, it was a movie with Ed Norton and Colin Farrell, and I played a homicide detective. Go figure. Real stretch. And the funny part is, we filmed in a building in Washington Heights in Manhattan. I actually had to work the homicide in the same building when I was on the job. I was retired, and we wind up working there. But I had been on a documentary for ABC News called NYPD 24/7. I think it was a 7 or 8 part series, and I was the featured detective in the first episode. And Dennis Franz, I don't know if you can see him back here up on the wall. Yeah, I'll move it. Where's Dennis Franz? Where is he? There he is. So he was on NYPD Blue, and I used to consult for the show. And he wound up doing the narrating for it. But ABC News just did a documentary, and I was a union delegate at the time. And I was like, no, we're not getting filmed, number one. Nobody's getting mic'd up, number two. So the police commissioner basically told me, either do it or you're going back to a uniform. I'm like, really? So, I got the union involved. And you got to do it. So being a union delegate, I took it upon myself. All right, then if anybody's going to be mic'd up and fouled, I'll do it. And then once all the other guys saw I was getting all the attention, they were like, oh, I want to do it too now. I'm like, okay, 10 minutes ago, you wanted nothing to do with it. So it worked out. So it aired, and it won an Emmy for the most watched documentary in ABC News history. So I retire, and then Jim Casey, the guy that created the Dead Files, had saw me, and he said, listen, somebody at Discovery Network saw you on the documentary, said, be good. I'm trying to do this a private investigator thing. So I flew out to LA for that. I did a pilot, never went anywhere. I was actually heading to Afghanistan as a contractor, and then the contract with the government got pulled, so I never wound up going. fast forward, he calls me, he says, I got this idea for a show. I think you'd be good in it, part of it. I'm like, I'm not doing any paranormal crap. Forget it. Not happening. It's woo-woo bullshit where people think I'm, so, and I got nothing against the people that are into the paranormal. That's not me. So he says, no. And he only saw me because somebody saw me on that documentary. That's how he found out about me. And that's how I got in contact with to ask me if I want to do television. So that's where I never wanted to be on TV or never wanted to act. It just, I guess, from being on that documentary, people saw, I wasn't afraid of the camera, and obviously I get the gab. I talk a lot of shit,
Hey, that's good though. I mean,
but
do you
that's
want
how
someone that can talk?
But that's how it all happened. I mean, this was all one of those things that would just one thing led into another. And then when I wound up doing the Dead Files, I didn't think we'd get past the first season. My daughter was in college at the time, so I was doing it for college tuition. She was going to law school, so I'm like, and I worked. Even though I was retired, I was working full time for Merrill Lynch while filming the first season. So I worked a 4-day work week. I was taking a day off. We were filming this episode in 4. You could see the difference in the first season compared to what every show now is like that.
Yeah.
It becomes, you got your training wheels on, you're trying to figure things out. But I mean, it came down to a science, but it took 7 days to film an episode, which, towards the end, well, actually the second season on, they wanted to make sure it was done. Because really it was 2 shows being filmed at the same time. So even though I had a break and Amy had a break, the crew never got a break.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still in touch with because we had about 4 or 5 guys that were from episode 1 to 220 that were on the show the entire time. They were really loyal, which is unheard of in Hollywood because that's a real unloyal city.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And when you're talking about, trying to find out if someone's telling the truth or lying, I think, when it comes to the paranormal and researching history and stuff, it's hard to sift through that fact and fiction. What advice would you give to people who are trying to get those firsthand accounts and figure out if that story is in fact true?
Yeah, you know what it is? You want to get comfortable with the person you're talking to, right? So you have a conversation with questions they would answer truthfully. How many kids you got? Where'd you go to school? And after about an hour or so, for me, it takes a lot less because I've been doing it. I did it so many years. But after a while, you'll get what we call tells, right? And you'll see, once you ask a question they may answer untruthfully to, you'll see a difference. And that's the best way but it takes years of learning how to, this bullshit. Oh, he looked up and to the left. Well, he's got a fucking tick. That's why he looked up and to the left. There's nothing wrong. He didn't say anything wrong. Stop with this, the 7 signs of, everybody's got their own thing. Everybody's different. Yeah. So that's why I got to spend time with that person. And it doesn't have to be in an interview form. You could just be casually, hey, who do you like in sports and that kind of shit. So for me, it was just doing what I did on the Dead Files was like, I've been doing this for years. So interviewing witnesses is probably one of the hardest things as a detective because interviewing a perp, did it is one thing. Trying to get witnesses to tell us what happened and saw what happened, that's another art all its own. And sometimes witnesses turn out to be perps. So you got to watch how you're questioning certain people, but you can get a lot of information, and interviewing witnesses is what really gets your craft going. So if you talk to somebody as far as the paranormal, if they got nothing in the game, they got no horse in the game, and you talk to them, they got really nothing to hide, nothing to lie about. So you get as much information you can from that person. But you guys go on, I guess investigations on these hauntings. I don't trust people. I just don't. I never said there's no paranormal. You've never seen me on one interview in 13 years of TV that I didn't believe in the paranormal. I do believe there's shit going on. Does it ever happen to me? No. Because I was told I'm a blocker or some shit from a psychic. I went on this 3-day convention thing, and it was a haunted house. And I'm like, they made me sleep in the most haunted room in the place. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. You sure nothing happened? I'm like, yeah. So they said, oh, I'm a diffuser. So when I walked into a room that had paranormal in it, when I walked in, the paranormal went away. I don't know if that's true or if it's all bullshit, but that's what this one particular medium said to me. He says, when you walked in, there was paranormal in here. You walked in and it left.
Okay.
So I don't know because they think I'm an asshole or what, but I've been the Santa Fe prison. We did a special on, right? It wasn't a special, it was an episode. I remember the client well. But we would talk to guards that wouldn't even go back into prison. I had to talk to these guards outside. They wouldn't even go into the building. Yet I walked around that building by myself for 3 hours with a flashlight, alone. I'm like, okay, it's a prison. I've been in 1,000 prisons. It's okay. Well, this is where they cut the guy's head off. Okay, this is where the pipe broke and the water and it looked like the river of red. And okay, I was looking at it as a crime scene. When people, people in your field that want to get into the paranormal, they look at it differently. I'm looking at it as a crime scene, and the perpetrator is the paranormal. Yeah, and that's how I approached every episode or every case. So, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah,
definitely.
What happened?
No,
hey,
it doesn't work. I don't show the stream. We have a question. I put it in down. We know the answer now. With so many cases of properties per, did you ever get an attachment?
No, and that's a common question. It's a question people call bullshit on, saying that's impossible. Okay, if I had an experience, I would tell you. I have no reason to lie. There's no reason for me to. Don't you think it would say I would give credit to the paranormal, credibility to the paranormal, and make my show better if I admitted I had paranormal experience? I'm not going to do that. All I got is my word, my integrity, and me. That's it. I'm not going to change it to get ratings. So if I had an experience, I'd say so, but I've never had anything. I mean, I've been in room with witnesses and they'd be like, oh, you feel that? I'm like, I don't feel shit. What am I feeling? I don't feel anything. And one woman got really upset with me. She says, how can you not feel that? I'm like, what are you talking? I'm freezing. It's cold in here. That's the only thing I'm feeling. She says, it's 30 degrees out. They shut the heat off. It's freezing in here. We were in Reno. I'm like, are you kidding me? I could see if it was 90 degrees out and the air conditioner was off and it was freezing in the room. Okay.
Yeah.
They shut the heat off in the building. It's 27 degrees, I think, that day. And she says, it's freezing in here. I'm like, yeah, that's why I have a jacket on.
Yeah. I know. Is there any time in which you were interviewing people who called out where you were thinking, oh my God, are you serious? With some stories.
Yeah, probably, people have a tendency to exaggerate when they're talking about the paranormal. The light bulb went out. It's a demon. No, it's not a demon. You got a bad bulb. That's what you got. A lot of this stuff can really be explained. And I'm not one of those debunkers. But in my head, as they're talking, I'm like, and I used to question, but I used to edit a lot of my questions out because I can get real testy with people. And they edited the shit out of me. Let me tell you something. If they had the stuff that's on the cutting room floor, because I don't think you're going to get over on me. I'm going to hit you, question after question. Towards the end, they started saying, well, you know what? Maybe we'll, the last few seasons, they were like, we got to start showing him not being so nice to people. Because I wasn't nice a lot. If I thought you were trying to get over on me. Because you want to be on TV. I mean, we vetted really well. I mean, the vetting process for the show was incredible. I mean, really good. Almost like vetting for a post on, White House cabinet, something like that. We really vetted well. I made him do background checks for criminal history, fraud, the whole 9 yards. I wanted all that back, anything that could be where these people aren't on the up and up as far as morality goes. So it took it would take almost 6-7 months, maybe a year process before you get, qualified to do the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we had thousands of submissions, and I mean, like, I didn't do the background work on that stuff. That was done by a staff in the office in California. Those guys and girls worked their ass off trying to really, and I'd get calls all the time. Steve, what should I look for on this thing? What should I look for? I said, well, when you talk to them, and sometimes I get on the phone with them,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 minutes later, I say, all right, nice talk. I say, no, they're not coming on the show. They're full of shit. How'd you know? I don't know. 40 years of doing this shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're not right. And they go to find out later on, oh man, they were full of crap. They tried getting on other shows and they trying to get over on some whatever other paranormal shows around out there. So I was very proud that we had a good run as far as, I mean, it was a couple episodes I didn't want to do, but we wind up doing because, they wanted certain things and, but that's Hollywood. And that's why,
Mm-hmm.
They have their agenda. And I said, well, you're not going to make me an agenda. So yeah, it was a lot of battles during those 13 years. A lot of battles.
We have a few comments.
Oh,
Do you ever follow up the old cases you did?
we used to. So we used to do a show, Dead Files Revisited, and then the network pulled it. I thought it was a great show. All I really had to do was do what we call green screen interviews, like we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy would say, you need a left-handed priest that eats sandwiches on Tuesday to, get in here and take a demon out. Whatever her wild shit was. Well, you got to get some kind of a let's say an Indian, what do you call them?
Shaman,
like a shaman, you got to get that type of. They would film those people coming in and the whole process. I mean, they even showed one woman getting exercised. I mean, that family had enough problems, but they had a lot of stuff going on. So that was a really good thing. As far as the way the show worked, after Amy gave them their whatever, like, this is your homework, this is what you got to do. Her job was supposed to follow up, not on camera, but she was supposed to follow up and make sure, things were getting done. But then again, you can lead a horse to water, right? Can't make them drink. We had, I don't know how many clients that just didn't take Amy's advice. But then when they edit it, they would get it done afterwards. I'm like, you guys got to do something about that. Like, put it in another show. Such and such episode, we stated that nothing was done. They never took Amy's advice, but they were able to get it done afterwards. So a lot of the shows where you see at the end, it says the clients did not take Amy's advice. They actually did. It just took them 6 more months to get the proper people to come out to the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't on the client. I used to get pissed at that. I said, why are you throwing them under the bus? They're trying, and nobody here is helping. It's not like Hollywood saying, oh, we're going to help. They're on their own. I never got involved in it because I got enough shit to do, doing background research and stuff like that. This is your end of it. You handle it. It's like, I stay in my lane. I'm not going to tell you what paranormal stuff to do. Don't tell me how to investigate something. So she was supposed to be following up on that, and I'll leave it at that. So, but I would have rather we did more of those revisited episodes. I would have liked to have done re-interviews. I even mentioned it because we knew the show was coming to an end. It was 15 seasons. I mean, very few shows go that long. So I mentioned to them, listen, why don't we do a show where I go back out and interview these people and we talk to the people that they had come in and tell us about what the hell happened. I mean, and they, you guys can do, what do you call them? Remakes or where they, a
reboot?
No, not a reboot, but they show something that happened, but not the real stuff. Like, like they have actors playing out what had happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of
Reenactment.
Reenactment. See? I told you. I got wet brain. I'm 63, wet brain. You can't even say reenactment. So Yeah, so I said threw that at them, but they just, I think they got tired. They didn't like my political beliefs and all the other stuff. So I think it was just one of those. We're gonna part ways anyway. So it was sad because I loved working with Cindy. I mean, she was absolute
Yeah,
the best. But
she is.
oh,
Well,
I still talk.
April Bousset says hi,
Hi, April.
and she is missing you on the Dead Files.
Well, I appreciate that. A lot of people, I get, like I said, I'm not on social media anymore. I got thrown off of TikTok for the 5th time about 9 months ago, and I never went back on.
Okay.
It was before the election. Yeah, they threw me off like 5 times. I was done with TikTok, but I had a big following on TikTok from former fans, and they'd always, send me a message. Oh, I miss you on the show, because sometimes I'd post photos of old photos, like the guys would have a photo bank of all these different photos from the episodes, which was really cool. But I just when I got rid of, I had some issues, personal issues. I just had to get off social media because I had somebody badmouthing me for no. It's a long story, but I said, you know what? I'm done with social media anyway. I don't need to be on it. So I'm on Instagram, but it's private.
Yeah.
So everybody on Instagram, I know. There's a couple of fans I may have met personally that are, I became friendly with. That we follow each other on Instagram, but I only have 300 followers on Instagram. When I had TikTok, I had 15, 16,000. When I had years ago, when I had Twitter, I had over 60,000. But and then my Instagram got really big when I was on the show. And then I made the mistake of getting married again, and my second ex-wife was just, you have too many women reaching out to you. You have to close down this Instagram, blah, blah, blah. She was fucking nuts anyway, but, is what it is. You live and learn.
Sorry to laugh.
Don't ask me if I'll do it again, but not because I won't, but yeah, lived and learned. She was very.
You made me curious. What did you do to get kicked out of TikTok?
Oh, I'm just, listen, I'm a former Marine. I was on the NYPD for 22 years. Seen combat in Beirut. I've been in the job, 3 shootings. From Brooklyn, New York. Both my father and on both my father and mother's side all served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Which way you think I'm going to lean? I'm not saying way right, but don't you think I'm going to be a little right of center? People are shocked that I'm, I don't like Trump personally, but I like what he's doing for our country. I just don't like the guy. But, you're one of the MAGA people? I mean, so I'm like, now you want to break my balls? Here we go. I was very anti-Kamala. I don't know, just to give you a reason why, and not to get into politics. Very anti-Kamala, very anti-Biden, and I'd make sure I made my opinions known. But I kept getting, so I have to make a new email and then go back on. But I lose. People like, what happened to you? I got banned for life. So it happened to me 5 times.
That's why I keep politics out of.
You got it. But you know what? I was off the show because I kept out of politics for years while I was on the show, and I used to bite my tongue a lot because Hollywood's famous for, you can't alienate half your audience. Well, what about the other half? They don't count.
Yeah.
So I used to get annoyed by that. So I was kind of, you can see which way I leaned a little bit, but when I was on the show, I bit my tongue a lot. But once the show was over, that was it. I went crazy. I went nuts. Anything I felt, I was like, especially when the woke shit started, I went out of my mind.
Yeah.
So that's just, it gave me fuel. And, I was like, woke. Oh, here we go. I got something, So it's just me having fun because I had nobody to answer to anymore. Years ago, to me, I had to be responsible. We had 50 people on the crew. Got to make sure they had to make a living too. I couldn't, and I had a first ex-wife had to get paid too. So I had to watch my P's and Q's. But once the show ended, and I was 60, it's like, fuck everybody. That's it. I'm just gonna say how I feel, and post my pictures of my American flags in front of the house. And, Yeah,
Oh,
it was nothing bad. It just I was just very anti-woke and I still am, anti-Kamala Harris, Biden. So
I like the show, The Dead Files, but now I'm a fan, a personal fan.
yeah, that's. Oh, I'm sorry. I have 26 cameras around my house. My girlfriend's got the dog and she's walking around. So every 10 seconds I'm getting notifications. Yeah. So
I have 4 dogs, so I don't even know if people can hear them barking in the back.
I tell you
occasionally.
what, I haven't had a dog in a while, and I forgot how much I missed having a dog. I actually, my girlfriend wants me to open up a TikTok for just her because she moved in December with the dog.
Mhm.
And I gotta have I don't know 1,400 photos of her already and videos. There's something wrong with me. Yeah, I know.
No,
I can't.
Hey, that's a pet parent for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up with dogs. We always had 2 in the house, at least 2. My whole life I had dogs. So, and even when I was married, I always had 2 dogs. So when I got divorced and living on my own, the show, it was a long time there. 15 years, I didn't have a dog. Well, my ex-wife had a dog, the second one, and it was a doodle something, and doodles just because I always had labs and shepherds.
Mhm.
So this dog's a Siberian Husky Malamute mix, and she's out of her mind, but I love her to death. I mean, she's a lot of fun. She's a terrible guard dog, but I mean, we had furniture delivered. The guys walked in and she just sat. I'm like, don't you want to bark, do something? Acknowledge there's somebody else in the house.
that
You want a barker? That's when you get a Chihuahua.
Oh no! I don't. My daughter always had small dogs. I try to not do anything under 60 pounds.
I have two Jack Russells.
Good
One
dogs.
is quiet and the other one is a barker. But
she's useless as far as barking goes.
Yeah, if someone breaks in, they are just happy.
No, they got me to deal with, but it's just. But I always have cameras around the house because I was never home. I lived alone. It's only recently, my second marriage lasted all 4 months, so it's not like I lived, with somebody for a long time. This is the first time I've been living with somebody since 2012, really. So I got cameras everywhere. I just don't. I'm paranoid. It doesn't mean nobody's after me, but I'm just paranoid. And middle of the night, I got everything out here: coyotes, rabbits, raccoons, snakes, you name it. Something's always setting something off over here. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? And she's walking the dog around the house to keep quiet. I'm like, we're fine. I got the office door closed. But yeah, that's the love of my life. And my girlfriend's like, oh my God. And I've known her for years, my girlfriend. We reconnected. We met 13 years ago and then we reconnected. And she wound up moving in and she brought the dog. She was going to give the dog away. She said, listen, we don't know what to do with Snow. My daughter's taking her dog, but we have a family in Penn. I'm like, what? Because the dog's been to the house a million times. I'm like, don't you dare. That dog comes here. I wasn't thinking, but she cost me a fortune because she's a picky eater. 82 pounds, but she's a picky eater. So I'm going through 20 different dogs. My dogs, I couldn't drop a pill on the floor without them eating it. So this dog is just a pain in the ass. She's unless I make a steak for her, then she'll eat that. But what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, I think most people would prefer steak.
I would too. Well, my girlfriend's she's pescator. She only eats fish.
Mm-hmm.
Her kids eat meat, but she never gave this dog meat, raw red meat.
Okay.
So I had a 14-ounce ribeye on the counter. I walked out for a second to say goodbye to her. She was going out with the car. I come back in. Where the fuck's my steak? And she's underneath the kitchen table, and she's devouring a 14-ounce, this thick ribeye that I was salivating. I couldn't wait to eat it. I was going to give her a piece. She ate the whole thing raw. She goes, oh my God, she's 6.5 years old. She never ate raw meat before. She's going to be all right. I'm like, yeah, That's what dogs are supposed to eat, raw meat. She's fine. And she ate a $50 steak. Yeah, but I know it's like $47 a pound. This Wagyu prime rib or ribeye rather. So I wound up eating a sandwich that night.
Well, she had a decent meal.
Yeah, but then now she's got a taste. Now she got a taste. And you know, when we go shopping, I'm like, I gotta get meat for the dog. So what do you mean meat for the dog? That's expensive. I'm like, it's not that expensive. We get meat for the dog. Dog's got meat. So I make the meat, I cut it up, and then I put it in a bag and throw it in with the food. So if I can't spoil a dog, then there's no sense of being around. You got to spoil dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah.
In working on cases like on the Dead Files that have so much history and working as a police officer, is there a certain cold case throughout history that has maybe caught your attention?
Huh. That's a good question. I don't think about it because, I mean, they all catch, like the John Bonet thing's been all over the friggin' Roku lately. I don't know why. The Hathaway, that girl Hathaway in the Aruba. I mean, my thing is with open cold cases is like, if I can't get in on the ground and look at the real case folder, because trust me, what the public knows and what the detectives know are two different things. What the media thinks they know nothing. And the public just is guessing. So for me, I never really kind of took an interest because I know, I can't get interested in this because if I can't get my teeth into it the way I want to, it's just like, I'm not going to enjoy, like we will watch those, you know, case files and all that crap on TV. We'll watch documentaries on stuff like that. I find it stuff fascinating, especially when it comes to serial killers. But you know, there's no one case that ever said, there's cases I say I wish I worked on. Like the John Bonet case. I mean, I wish I worked on that. There's a ton of cases. I can't give you one offhand, but if you mention cases, I can tell you, I definitely wish I would have worked on that, you know. Like the Gilo Beach murders up in Long Island, right? That would have been a great case to work on. And they did a great job with that case, finally. Took them forever. Matter of fact, the female state trooper is the one that really caught the witness going back to the file, is how they wind up getting the guy. But, you know, this case, I miss it. So because I miss it, I really don't want to see it. It's like you can't have chocolate. You're not going into a candy store, you know. So I missed the clowns, not the circus, but I definitely missed the work without a doubt. So when it comes to that stuff, I don't really tease myself with it too much. You know?
Yeah, I actually took law and forensics in high school, and when we were going over the portion on how to close off a crime scene, they went over the John Benet Ramsey case because at least my teacher told me that they had done a very poor job securing the crime scene, letting people in and out, which contaminated a lot of the evidence.
No, well, Lizzie Borden's a perfect case. They staged the father. They walked the entire town walked into they set an axe that had rust on it was the murder weapon. I mean, stuff like that. You're like, you know, it's police work 101. Like, you can always make a crime scene smaller. You can't make it bigger. So you got to make the crime scene as big as you can at the beginning. You can always shrink it if you have to. Why would you make it a small crime scene? Make it as big as you can at the time. And they didn't do that with John Benet Ramsey at all. I mean, they messed that. And I never like second guessing other cops, but it's just when you do bad police work, you do bad police work, you know. So unfortunately, you know, somebody's going to suffer, and that's the victim and the victim's family. You know.
Yeah, you mentioned also the Black Dahlia case, Sophia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do something with the Black Dahlia case. That's the one in LA, right? Hollywood?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were supposed to do something with that. And the network turned us down to do it. We had done a couple of specials, like we did the Lizzie Borden house. We did Alcatraz, which was one of my favorite episodes to do. That was early on. We did Alcatraz, and we were supposed to do the Amityville Horror house. And I wanted to get in and talk to DeMeo, you know, the guy that killed the family. And prison turned us down, and the family that owned the house wouldn't allow us to do it. You know, so and we were gonna do where Lincoln got, you know, Ford's Theater. We were gonna where Lincoln was murdered. We did the house out in Iowa. That was the axe murder. And
Villisca?
Yes. Me and Amy really came off camera. I came to head with her, you know, because she's insisting. I don't give a shit. You're paranormal. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know, she thought it was a team of murderers that came in and did it. One guy did that. One guy did it. And it was that traveling preacher, as far as I can piece together. But we really did not, you know, we didn't connect on a lot of things, but we did not connect on that at all. And I told the producers, I said, you don't sugarcoat this shit. I don't believe it, what she's saying, and she doesn't believe what I'm saying. Leave it as it is, because you really can't get any more realistic than that when two co-hosts on a show don't see eye to eye on something. That was one of those specials we did. So and I enjoyed doing it, but 100%, I think she was totally wrong on what she was feeling or what she was saying. Absolutely wrong. And I'll take that to my death without a doubt. She was 100% wrong on it. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. You know, I worked over 1,000 homicides. I know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to murders. And with the evidence we got, I'm telling you right now, there wasn't 5 guys walking in here doing this. So, but we'll leave it at that.
I always say at the end, it's okay to agree to disagree.
100%. You know, that's the problem with politics today. Nobody knows how to agree to disagree and just leave it be. But, you know, everybody's got to divide and conquer. But, I mean, years ago, you could sit down and talk to people that had different stories, different sides and beliefs, and still have lunch with them. Can't do that today anymore.
No.
I mean, I know how many fans I lost once I came out of the closet, and not come out of the closet, but I didn't come out the closet, but, you know, but I, you know, they were like, I can't believe you're a right-wing fascist. I'm like, right-wing fascist? I'm a fucking Marine. I was a cop at 20. What are you going through your head? Which way you think I'm going to lean? You know, I can't believe you support Trump. I said, I didn't say I support Trump. I support his policies. Oh, you're a Nazi. Okay. Goodbye. You know, people are crazy today. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, if I didn't, you watch TV today, not one actor or actress out there their politics is everything I hate. Very few out there, politics I agree with, actors and actresses. If I decided I wasn't going to watch them because of their politics, I'd never see anything on TV. Like, I won't watch De Niro, right? He became a lunatic. I won't watch him, but I watch his old stuff. You can't, you know, take a side and say, well, oh, I can't watch that guy because of his politics. It's like even musicians, you know, I love music, right? I played drums for years. If you didn't like musicians' politics, you're never going to hear music. You know? So you got to just, you can stand your ground and this is what I believe in A, B, and C, but you don't have to, I'm never going to buy from Target again, you know, shit like that. Like, you know what? I need an air fryer. I'm going to fucking Target. I'm going to tell you, you want to boycott something, you know, do what you got to do. But I'm not going to get my $20 is not going to make a difference in the whole big scheme of things.
Yeah, it is. But I have this one guy I never, ever watched. It was the first name who came out on the Epstein files. And he was also on the Green Mile. I even don't remember his name. But if I hear his voice,
oh yeah,
Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah.
TV goes off. It goes off. And there was this one documentary they made about Elvis and his life.
Yeah.
And he played the general.
Yeah, no, I didn't care for that movie at all.
Yeah, and I heard his voice. I said, I know that voice. I know that voice.
Oh, he played the colonel, the big fat guy.
Yeah.
Manager, so to speak.
Yeah. So I picked up my phone, looked for the cast. I said, out. I didn't watch till the end.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, that's what I'm saying. If you think about it, you get crazy. Like, I'll never see anything on television, ever. You know, I try to ignore what they're saying in the media. So I'm like, I like the show. I just don't want to turn it off now. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really getting into it. I can't let these politics get to the best of me.
Well, it spoiled it for me. But luckily, the manager of Elvis was a Dutch guy. So I can look into.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Yeah,
I knew he had some issues with traveling, that guy.
yeah, he was Dutch as can be.
Wow. I didn't know it. See, you learn something new every day.
Now you have to remember.
He's the reason Elvis never left the country to perform. He's the main reason,
Yeah,
which was
maybe
sad. Which was very sad.
he had no fear of flying.
No, it had to do with, I think he was wanted in Europe, and something was fishy with his passport, or he couldn't get one. But,
Yeah, I do remember reading he was in the service and he was in Germany, but for the rest, I don't know why he didn't perform here.
Well, yeah, I didn't care for that movie either. But you know what? I didn't like the way they portrayed things in it. And, like Elvis stole everything. I'm like, stop. I mean, it's Elvis. He's the king. Give it a break. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Also, Sophia's like, I'm not getting to these politics. I'm telling you. I'm not doing it.
My grandpa was in an Elvis movie. That's
Oh, really?
yeah, he was. He played his band manager in a movie called Love Me or Leave Me. No, sorry, that's a Doris Day movie. It was Live a Little, Love a Little.
You're kidding.
Yeah, no, that's a
the
true
Elvis
story.
movie at least twice.
Yeah, he was in Live a Little, Love a Little. My grandpa was in it. My dad's adopted. We found him a couple years ago, and he's actually to this day still best friends with Shirley Jones from the Partridge Family.
Love her. She was one of my growing up. She was one of my heartthrobs. Her and Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie is a great show.
Yeah. So I had my specials growing up. Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island. Everybody's like, you Mary Ann or a Ginger guy? Everybody's a Mary Ann guy. Screw Ginger. We got nothing to do with Ginger. Everybody's a Mary Ann guy.
We only had here a fight over the Beatles and Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard. I remember Cliff.
Yeah. Or you were a fan of the Beatles or Cliff Richard. Yeah, my mom liked both. So she was the weirdo.
Yeah.
I like Doris Day movies.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm doing the Doris Day thing. Have you watched this show From?
I have not.
On MGM Plus? Are we allowed to say the network?
I'm sure.
Right. So there's a show called From, and it's a scary show. It's about people winding up in a place where there's monsters that come out at night, and everybody's, where are you from? That's what the basic of. Mm-hmm. So the movie, the show, when you hear the beginning, like it's Que Sera Sera, but the way they did it was so macabre. It was like, I know this song. I know it from somewhere. I grew up with, I know this song. And I'm like, son of a bitch, it's Que Sera Sera from Doris Day. But the way it's very eerie and very, it's a great show. They're on the 4th season now. So I'm just starting to binge it again. So if you get a chance to watch it, it's on MGM Plus. It's called From. And if you're into the paranormal, you're going to love the show. I mean, it's not more paranormal. It's more like, but it's a twisted version of not zombies. Because I'm not crazy about zombie movies, but it's a twisted version of they're all stuck in this place. They have to come to a road, and there's a tree in front of it, and they can't get. And they just keep going in a loop and winding up in this one town. And then they're stuck there. And at night, these monsters come out, so you got to lock themselves in the house. But it's a very, very good, very well made show. And very few that I watch any kind of paranormal or anything like that. But this is a really good show. And I was like, when's season 4 ever going to come out? It finally just came out. Like everything else on TV, they wait. They make you wait.
Yeah, they definitely do. Watch Nancy Drew. They had 4 movies that came out the same year. I was like, wow, they really put those out.
In 1 year?
Yeah, it was the Bonita Granville, 1939. They had like 3 or 4 movies that came out the same year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just TV's not like it was. They do things today. When I was a kid, a season was 26 episodes. Mm-hmm. That was the normal. You'd get an episode, every 2 weeks it'd be a new episode. You know, they take it. But now you'll get shows 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Like I just watched this show, The Madison, on Paramount Plus. It's really with Michelle Pfeiffer. It's really Kurt Russell, really good show. 6 episodes, and it's like, all right, that's it. I'm done. And I'm like, who the fuck makes 6 episodes and then they're done? But that's what Hollywood's doing now. You know, they're micromanaging. I mean, they used to split our seasons. We had 13 episodes, and they do 6 episodes and then 7. Like, why are you splitting the season? You're driving the fans crazy.
Yeah.
It's the bean counters. They don't give a shit about the fan. None of Hollywood gives a shit about the fan. They don't care about the bottom dollar and what they think fans want. You know, I can say what I want about Hollywood. I'm never going, you know, it's not like I'm ever going to be on a show again. So I don't give a shit, but Hollywood's the most disloyal. Know how they tell you go fuck yourself in Hollywood? Hey, I'll give you a call. Let's do lunch. That means go fuck yourself. See where I come from? Go fuck yourself means go fuck yourself. That's very simple. But out there, that's all of California, though. I don't know if you're from California, Sophia.
I'm from California.
So you know what I'm talking about then. That whole LA scene is very, you know, nobody, I don't trust anybody out there. Are you from LA area?
Yes, I'm from LA.
And I like the, see, I'm only
I'm from a coastal city, if that helps, LA County.
I don't think that helps. But the one that got burned down, I hope not.
No. I'm by the Queen Mary.
Oh, Long Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it well. I know.
You know, my mom tells me about the fatty Arbuckles hanging out there during the day. You know, Los Angeles has its storied history.
Grand Prix over there, right?
Yes, we do, the Long Beach Grand Prix.
Yeah, Long Beach Grand Prix. Yeah, I was seeing somebody for a little while that lived there. She was a stewardess, and I'm like, the Queen Mary. Why does that sound familiar to me? Like, not the Queen Mary itself, but I'm like, why is it always popping up? They do haunted stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Haunted Harbor.
That's it, right? And people spend the night. They pay to spend the night on the boat.
Yeah, you can spend the night there. That's actually the first place I ever investigated when I was 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's how I got into the paranormal. And I lived in a haunted house too, all in Long Beach. So yeah, I'm from California.
Yeah, we used to fly into Long Beach when I did NYPD Blue, consultant for them. Well, I was a consultant. Every story I know NYPD was a real story from the NYPD. So I probably was out in LA 4 or 5 times and did you meet with the writers, you give them your cases, and they have to change a little bit if it's an open case or if it's a closed case, you know. But every show, but we'd always fly into Long Beach. I'm like, why are they flying this into Long Beach? Well, because JetBlue went from Kennedy to Long Beach, and then it was like an hour and a half drive to. I think we were staying in Santa Monica at the time. And LA
JetBlue's not in Long Beach anymore. It sucks. There's like barely any flights out of Long Beach, and it's such a small, nice airport. And yeah,
I like that town. I actually like Long Beach. That's as far as LA, I can't take, but Santa Barbara, I liked. I mean, I spent a lot of time in California. I was in Santa Barbara on a homicide case in the 90s, and I fell in love with Santa Barbara then. But just after things changed, you know, drastically in the LA area, probably within the last 10, 15 years, everything just changed. You know, it used to be a nice place to go, and it's not nice anymore. Long Beach, thank God, you're lucky, it's still a good place to be.
Yeah, except we have the breakwater, which doesn't really allow that flow. I want them to tear down the breakwater. They put it up during World War II, but it doesn't really allow the water to circulate. We have like an F rating, which is nice.
You got the oil platforms out there as well, right?
Yeah, we do. And in Catalina Island is just off the coast as well.
Yeah, I'm watching Shark Week this week, so you know.
Yeah.
Catalina
Island. They filmed off of Catalina Island last year for Shark Week.
Oh yeah, it's not the real Shark Week because that's in July, but this is the Nat Geo version of Shark Week. So my girlfriend's losing her mind. She says, "How many goddamn sharks?" She doesn't curse. She doesn't even swear. But she's like, "How many times you got to watch the same show? We already know the shark did it." You know, but how do we know what shark did it? How about this? Because they're like, they come up with, like they're doing investigations, right? And they're like, well, maybe it's the weather this year. It's not the weather. I could have told you that because that's the first freaking thing you came up with. Maybe it's a sunken ship that's emanating, electronic force field. No, it's not that. And then they end up, but we really don't know why this happened. I'm like, well, why
The sharks are coming out for the Grand Prix. You know, they just gotta see it.
Sharks are in the water. People go in the water, and they get attacked. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's like a dinner bell.
Well, yeah, people go in the water a lot more now than they did back, 300 years ago. So there's more people on the planet. The chance of getting bit is pretty good. Then there was one poor bear that got bit twice. He got attacked twice from a shark in Australia. I'm like, how messed up do you got to be, bad luck wise, to get? It's like getting hit by lightning twice. What are the chances?
Yeah.
Martha Stewart got struck by lightning twice, I think, maybe 3 times.
What's that?
Martha Stewart got struck by lightning like 2 to 3 times. Once through her sink, and then once when she was on the telephone.
Really? Well, she's the devil. Actually, she's a very nice woman. After 9/11 hit, we were, task force, all the investigators. Her building, we had a whole floor in her building, and she came up with pie after pastries after you name it. I mean, there were a lot of detectives and agents in there. There had to be at least 150 of us, And she brought enough that people were like, I'm going to take one of these pies home. There's just too many. I mean, she just stopped. It was nonstop. Sending up coffee and everything. She was really sweet to us. I mean, everybody's sweet to law enforcement then. Everybody hates them, but, time. That's why I say times have changed. It's going to be 25 years this September. It's crazy. And it's a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we're off the subject of the paranormal stuff.
I don't mind. We jump all over the place. So that's one question. It just popped up into my head. When you do the reveal in that files to the family, were you ever surprised by things they said, Amy or Cindy, that you thought, oh my God, you hit the nail on the head?
I mean, almost every week I was always shocked by how accurate Amy was and what I know they talked to me about. And I'll take this to the great lie detector test. Me and Amy never talked for a lot of reasons, but we never talked at all. I'll leave it at that. So me and her never communicated whatsoever until we hit that reveal table. We didn't hang out together. We didn't do anything together. We didn't even stay in the same hotel together. And I know for a fact there's no way in hell she could have known anything that these people told us. Because we have, even the people helping with the research sign an NDA, as far as Amy goes. And I'd sit there every week and even with the sketches, like, the fuck, that's what she described almost to a T. It's eerie. So I'd say almost every week I was shocked at how accurate. Well, sometimes clients would never reveal something, and they'll turn around and say, "I never told you this, but yeah, that did happen." And so I'm sure you've seen it a couple of times. That's happened more than one time. But Amy was, as far as the paranormal goes, as far as a medium, she was really, really talented. To me, Cindy Kaiser blew her away personally. I think Cindy's just a people person, just a good person all around. And I think I'm so sorry we didn't get to do a full season together. I mean, we still talk all the time, but and she's pretty busy. But I would have loved to at least done one more season with her. It's like, come on, there was a lot of backlash. It's like when a guitar player or a drummer leaves a band, there's a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
Or when, God forbid, somebody dies in a band and then somebody else comes in, there's always that backlash. You're replacing somebody. But she had an overall good fan reaction. And so I'm just sorry because it was just timing. We're on our 15th season. Warner Brothers bought the network. They bought everybody. and now they're living off of reruns. Because we don't get paid for people think I get paid for reruns. It's not a scripted show, and unless it's a scripted show by the WGA, and you would notice living out in California, they're like the mafia. You got to have 5 seasons and at least 100 episodes to start getting residuals, and it's got to be written. If the WGA didn't write it, you're not getting anything. So networks are making a fortune off of reality shows because there's no residuals to be paid. So they're running our show 24/7 on Fridays here in the States. I don't know what channel it's on, but it's one of the channels. But it's 24 hours starting Thursday night at midnight all the way till Saturday night. So, and that's where I'm like, just being out in public once in a while. I'm getting older now, so people are like, I think you're that guy. I'm like, yeah, I was that guy.
It's once a week over here, just 1 episode.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
They used to do that to the Canadians too, for some reason. Canada had the same problem. They can never get, and we had a lot of fans in Canada. And we always wanted to film up there, but we couldn't because of, our show was very difficult to film. You had to know every in and out of it, especially the cameramen. If you went to Canada, you had to use, you can only bring 30% of your crew. 70% had to be hired from Canada. You couldn't do that with our show because to try to teach somebody how the show's done and get it done in a week for an episode, impossible. So we didn't. That's the reason we never went to Canada. Which, we went to Jamaica, that Rose something. You guys know the haunted mansion out there in Jamaica? The Rose Hall or some shit. We did that episode. And then we did an episode in Hawaii. And then we did, which was pretty interesting. And then we did one in Alaska. That was pretty cool, except for the artist. He made a caricature instead of I'm like, so when they pull out the sketch, I'm like, what the fuck is this? They had to cut it because I'm like, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, what the fuck is this? If you watch the episode in Alaska, the what do you call the friggin' the sketch artist? It looked like a cartoon character, like almost like a Disney character.
Okay. I have to watch this. I have to.
Yeah, it's season 1. It's in the first season.
They cut out a lot over here.
Yeah, it was the episode where it was like a hotel or something, but it was in Circle, Alaska, and we were up there in it was 2012, and we were up there in April. So it wasn't too bad cold wise, but we had to have our own chef fly in because there was no place to eat. They had one.
Oh my god!
We were living in. I was living in a room. We shared bathroom. We shared a bathroom. It was crazy. Really nuts. We definitely roughed it up for at least a week up there. But yeah, that episode, because Amy does the sketch on her own. They had a separate cameraman for that. One of the camera guys, and I think she was married to Matt at the time. Still. Well, Matt still was part of the show, but they filmed the sketch, and then I never saw it until the show aired. But I've never seen a sketch in the 220 episodes. That was the most ridiculous sketch I've ever seen in my life. And I said to him, "Don't you ever allow this to happen again? Because if I'm gonna this now we look like a joke." When I tell you he looked like one of the Mario brothers, the picture, Super Mario Brothers, that's what he looked like. And, and I can't hold back. I'm an Italian guy from Brooklyn. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Are you joking? Is this what you saw? She goes, well, that's what his interpretation of what I saw was. I'm like, did you ever think maybe you should have said something? Like, this is no good. But then again, we're in Alaska, and that was in, I think it was Fairbanks that she had to do it because where we were, I think the population was 13. Wow. And everybody had a big moose stuffed on front of the moose horns stuffed in front of their house. So I was like, oh man, it's not like not like you're in a big city, where you can just go ahead and find another sketch artist. So they got stuck. And that, like I said, it was first season. So it was early on. But yeah, that's one of the sketches that most of the sketches were cool. They would freak you out. And But that one, if you get a chance, you'll see it because it's the first season, and it's the only episode in Alaska we ever did. You could probably look it up online, like the sketch from the Alaska episode in the Dead Files, and you'll piss your pants when you see it because, like, well, especially if you know all the sketches that over the years that were done, it's like night and day. It's like, what show is this?
Mario Brothers.
Oh my God! Yeah, I'm telling you, when you see it, you're gonna think it was the Mario Brothers. It was like,
oh my God!
I mean, if I was a ghost, I'd probably enjoy that reaction to it, though.
I mean, the whole episode was pretty
like
comical.
it a little better.
The whole episode was comical. I mean, the guy's telling me about this. He saw something that looked like a monkey, and the face had a monkey. So I turned around and said, "All right, so tell me about this monkey face." Well, apparently, the entire crew cracked up. They couldn't even film. Everybody's laughing because of the way I said it to the guy. I'm like, so tell me about this monkey face. And I didn't think it was funny at all, but I guess the way it came out, all I hear is giggling. You know, when people can't stop laughing, they're trying to stop themselves. It's the same episode. And I'm in the kitchen with the guy. It's funny how I remember little things like that. I'm in the kitchen with the guy. So I'm like, tell me about this monkey face. And they just lost it. So of course, the whole next week, everything. Hey, monkey face, monkey face.
Yeah, it's like my cousin Vinny, where he's like, "How many fingers am I holding up?" And then he's like, "Let the record show 3," and he's like, "Only," I can't remember the woman's name. "Only Mrs. Riley."
Yeah. Come on, Your Honor.
He's like, "Please give me a break."
In fact, he's showing 2 fingers. We had some fun on the I always hung out with the crew. They'll tell you I'd take them out for cigars and drinks, and we'd always have a good time together. They'd see me at the bar at the hotel. They come sniffing around because they knew I was going to buy I wasn't going to let them pay for a drink. So
were you ever hearing stories from the crew of experiences they had while filming? Because I know you're a diffuser. So.
One of the guys, I remember his name. His name was Victor. He had an actual experience. Him and another guy, Joe, had experiences that they wound up filming because they did shorts for the European. Because you guys don't have as many commercials as us, so you get more footage.
Yeah.
Than the American shows. So we had a European cut. And in the European cuts, they were showing, they did like a little thing at the end. Oh, one of our crew members had it, and they talked to him about what happened. And 2 guys had a specific, one guy was really scared when he come running out of the house. It was in a basement somewhere. And so 2 guys I know specifically had really, really strong encounters with the paranormal. So, and these guys, very believable. I mean, these weren't production assistants that were trying to break into the business and trying to make a name for themselves. These guys were established, upper echelon crew people. So for them to make a lie about it made no sense. But yeah, the one guy, Victor, was pretty shaken up. He was pretty shaken up by it. So that's the only 2 times I can remember. I'm sure the guys probably, but they were always afraid to tell me because I tell you, stop the bullshit, I'd be like, cut it out. Man the fuck up. What are you doing? You heard something. You slap, and you hear the slap, and then you're good. Get out. So they wouldn't tell me, but something that where you could see physically that they're pretty shaken up was pretty like, wow. I guess they did have an experience because I know the guys very well. I spent a lot of time with them. So for them to really be shaken up, and of course the family. I told you, the place is fucked up. Yeah, I know. That's why we're here. Okay, relax yourself. That's why we're here. You're all good. Yourself. So.
We have one last question. Have you got a favorite episode?
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier. I think Alcatraz was my favorite to do, without a doubt, just because of the history, and I had always wanted to visit there, and I got lucky We filmed at night when the place was closed, and we had to take a boat out, obviously, to get out there every night. And I actually did what they call my OTF, talking about the show on the boat. I mean, it's freaking cold out there in January. So the guards, I think they're park rangers out there. They have arrest powers, but they're park rangers. So when the guy heard I was because we were new on the show was only about a year old, and so I wasn't known. It's not like they say, "Oh, you've been on TV for so long." But the guys found out I was a retired detective. That the park rangers, they took me down into the tombs that the public's not allowed to go.
Oh, wow.
So I got to go down into where they had the Civil War jails for the guys that were deserting.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like half moon shaped cells that were probably at highest point 4 foot and went back about 30 feet. And he said they'd have 100 prisoners in here. Asshole the belly button just stuck in the, just stuck in here. I'm like, he says, it's too gruesome for us to even show the regular public. So I got to see all that. I got to see where the Birdman Stroud was at. That was one of those episodes. It was just, I always found Alcatraz fascinating. And I got to talk to guards that were there. Amy saw a murder that took place in a barbershop that wasn't there anymore.
Wow.
And unless you worked there at the time, you wouldn't have known about it. But I interviewed a guard who was, I think it's his second day on the job. This guy, he sliced another guy with a razor and he killed him. Wow. And he described the scene exactly how she described it later on, But that I enjoyed. I enjoyed Villisca. I thought Villisca was a great episode. As far as the regular everyday episodes, it's hard to pinpoint. 220 episodes. I mean, I think more of location than I do the actual case.
Mm-hmm.
But the high profile ones, like Alcatraz and Villisca, I mean, I didn't care for the what do you call the one that chopped up her parents, Lizzie Borden. I didn't care for that episode. Mm-hmm. But as far as it's hard to pinpoint a favorite episode, but like I said, Santa Fe prison. Then again, another prison, right? I enjoyed that episode. There was something about that episode was fascinating to me. I just go to the police side of it because of what happened, the riots and the Marines coming and throwing grenades down on the, like an Alcatraz, the Marines threw grenades down during one of their riots, and you could still see the actual blast. No, that was Santa Fe. My apologies. It was Santa Fe. You could still see where the grenade hits and the fragmentation comes out where the Marines dropped the grenades. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, But what I find cool, most people would be like, no, that's not cool. A ghost is going by you in the middle of the night. Cool. Yeah, I didn't. Those are the episodes I really that stand out and I remember and I enjoyed. But like I said, especially Alcatraz. Because it wasn't the show, I don't think I'd ever would have gotten there. I got to see Mount Rushmore because of the show, because we did an episode out in Deadwood. Deadwood was another fun one. So I'm friends with Titus Welliver, the actor, and he was in Deadwood. And so there's a picture of him in the bar that we were, the restaurant or the saloon we were investigating. And there's a picture of him from the show. So I sent it to him like, hey, asshole, I'm staring at you right now. So, but yeah, the more famous ones are kind of probably the ones that stand out. But I really enjoyed Deadwood. It was, like I said, another one. Alcatraz, Santa Fe prison one. But that was with a regular client. That wasn't with she was a regular client. I think she worked there, if I remember correctly, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just something, like I said, water brain. I can't remember it anymore. I got CRS.
Well, you've gone through a lot, so it would be hard to remember all the cases from Dead Files and before.
Oh, yeah, it's like I mix up a homicide from the show, one of the show episodes.
Yeah.
At that point, then you'll know.
Or you have to binge 24 hours and you have to come back on Sophia's show.
I didn't know you had a show, Sophia.
I would love to have you on.
Yeah, if you want.
No, I would love to have you on.
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect.
It's not like I'm busy. Actually, I I'm busy when I'm more busy now than when I was working. I'm just, just taking care of the house and wind up doing stuff that, like that you put off for years, and all of a sudden, now I got to do it. Now I got to do this. I got to do that. So, and then I got the dog now, so she takes up most of my time.
Well, they do that. But yeah, I would love to have you on the show, talk more about stuff. And I mean, it's been amazing getting to speak with you. And
Same here.
thank you, Mary,
Yeah.
for, allowing me to co-host today.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just quiet sometimes because like I can be a talker, so I'm
funny,
like I'm trying to balance.
Mary reached out to me, and normally I get a lot of people reaching out to me about, and I usually ignore them, but for some reason I said, you know what? She's from the Netherlands.
Yeah,
She
can't
talks-
help it, but
I'm like, you know what? This is nice because a lot of times I don't get a chance to talk to anybody from over the pond, so I'm glad we got a chance to do this. I've had a few episodes from people from England, but podcast, whatever you want to call it, and but if I get a chance, I said, I'm going to do this.
And hey, if I reach out to you, you might not have known. I swear I'm a polite Californian. So
You're one of the few. I'm only joking. I got a lot of friends out there.
my mom raised me. Please and thank you. I'm Mexican, so I'm scared of her. I listened to her very well growing up.
That's the one I like to hear. It's how you're raised, right?
Yeah, I'm raised. My grandma lives across the street, so I make sure I'm the good grandchild. So you can see, I swear, I'm the polite one. You would have seen California.
Well, yeah, you can reach out to me. I mean, Mary, you got my email, right?
Yeah, I got your email and LinkedIn, so I sent it to you, Sophia.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
awesome.
reach out to me and make sure you say, remind me, because I told you wet brain.
Yeah, you'll get an email from my dad. He handles all the bookings. I started when I was 12, so he did everything. When I turned 18, he's like, "You want to take over?" And I'm like, "You're doing such a good job. I would hate to take that from you." But people are like, "Oh, is that your mom?" I'm like, Don't let the long hair fool you. That is in fact my father."
My girlfriend's like, "Oh, make sure you tell them about your upcoming podcast that you're going to be starting." I'm like, "No, I'm not," because she wants me to do a podcast. I'm like, "No, I'm not doing it." Just it's just like I wouldn't even know what or who to talk to, about,
Mhm.
and it's like, just I'm not the type to ask people to do things, so it's hard for me to, I did a podcast like a one-off with two buddies of mine about our 9/11 experiences 5 years ago when we had the 20th anniversary, and I did it in a studio down here in Florida in Estero, and it was really well perceived. We got a lot of hits on the YouTube.
Yeah.
So, but the guy that had the studio he was upset that I had more views in one show than he had I think he did 50 about cigars and stuff. And I had more views in one, so he wouldn't allow me to use the studio anymore.
Oh.
And you need, I mean, you could do a podcast anywhere especially if you're doing it like this, but I'd rather I'd like to be in front of somebody, if I could do it. Well, half the time I listen to podcasts in my ear. I'll download them and I'm walking the dog and I'm listening to Joe Rogan or somebody, Sean Ryan, something like that. But yeah. But I appreciate you ladies having me on. I really do. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for allowing me to
Thank
step
you for
in and
coming
interview you, and thank you, Mary, for allowing me.
Yeah.
A warning: you're going to be on
YouTube.
Yeah. I think that's
All right, so I'll figure out how to tell people on my Instagram, because some Instagram girls that are, well, I say girls because I don't have too many male fans, but some of them that were fans of the show I'm actually friendly with, they're on my Instagram.
Yeah.
If I tell them, then the word gets out. Yeah, because I don't have the audience I had before. I just, I had to have social media contractually, and it sucked the soul out of me. It really did. And I felt I'm one of those guys that I have to answer or every question or every response.
Yeah.
So I felt I had to, because these people are the reason I'm on TV. How do you not acknowledge them? I'm like, because I'll make a comment on some of the guys I follow, and you never see a like from them. I'm like, well, fuck, I don't expect it.
Yeah.
But when I ran into fans, I can't believe you liked my comment, so that meant a lot to me. So I always, but it would take hours sometimes. I had like 11,000 comments on one post at one time, and I'm like,
Wow.
it's gonna take me a while to get through this.
Yeah.
So I'd stop. I wouldn't post anything till I got through it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will make it easy on you. I'll send you the YouTube link in the mail. And as soon as it is on Spotify, I will post it in LinkedIn.
Okay.
Just the audio, but I send it to you as well.
I appreciate that. That sounds good. Yeah, this way I'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm old, so I'm challenged, Although I could turn the computer on, I figured that out. So.
Well, you did well. So,
well, no, you did well. A lot of times I used to do a lot of these podcasts like this, and it would stop. We'd have to get relinked in. It was just, it's a nightmare. Well, you have your stuff together. I'll give you that, Mary. That's for sure.
We did our best. We did our best.
Yeah, absolutely. It was absolutely. And if you reach out, I'd be more than happy to come on your show. Now that I know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely be reaching out and getting you on. It was fantastic getting to speak with you, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon in the future.
Same here. All right, ladies, have a good afternoon or good night in your case, right?
Yeah.
Anytime by you.
So next Saturday we are back with another episode. We jump into the background and we shut off with some music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You have a really cool intro. I started to film it on my phone a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great song. I love it.
It's funny. I used to go on a radio show with somebody, and they'd ask me to pick the songs to go intro in and out with. So of course, everything with me was like Zeppelin, Sabbath, ACD, that shit. I grew up with, and while I throw a Kiss song in there on them, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's odd. I didn't think you liked Kiss." Everybody likes Kiss, Well,
so, AI, just type in the gender and what text you want in, and it came out.
AI is, it's scary.
It's good scary, as it is, but they make beautiful music.
I have a friend of mine that lives in Vegas, and he sings. He writes his own songs, and he sends me the link, and I'm like, "Bro, I never knew you had such a voice." He says, "No, but that's AI. That's all AI generated." I'm like, "You're a douchebag. Why would you? That's why you use your own voice." What the fuck is wrong?
Yeah.
And I said that defeats the whole purpose, right? Because he writes a lot of stuff about being a cop and everything, and we keep losing a lot of guys from 9/11 cancer. He wrote a song about that, and he's always sending me stuff because I was trapped for like 40 minutes on 9/11, so he always sends me stuff. What do you think of this? Before I put it out there, I'm like, bro, you put it out there, but now that you told me you're a liar when you're singing, but we're just joking with him. But I'm like, wow, because I'm like, man, you got a voice and a half. How come you never did anything with your voice? Oh no, that's AI. Like, you're a jerk. Yeah, you can't trust anybody anymore.
You're like, I never knew this about you, and he's like, I didn't either till the computer told me.
Exactly. I'm like, man, waste all those times on the street when you could have been singing on the road.
He's like, it took a few years, and the computer let me know I could.
Yeah, exactly. All right, ladies, it was a pleasure.
It was all ours.
We did. We went an hour and a half.
Yes, we did.
I talk, so sorry about that.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Keep in touch.
See you all the next time.
Absolutely.
We do. Now I have to do you, do me.
Long night ahead. shadows creep, ravens spread their wings. Silence deep, the creaking force, we cryptic tongue. We face the dark with spirits.